Hello BookTube. In lieu of doing a tag video, since I did one yesterday, I'm going to talk about two subjects that I don't think necessarily really warrant a longer video individually. So I'll do just this one video. So the first topic I want to talk about is my library, which I've been talking quite a bit about over the past few weeks. And I also wanted to talk about the Booker Prize. And I'll explain more about why I want to talk about the Booker Prize later in this video once I get to it. So over the past few weeks, I've been trying to reorganize my library. And I'm still not entirely satisfied with it, although basically the form of my library is basically what I've got to deal with. There's just I have nowhere else to put my history except for the history wall. While I'm not particularly pleased with how the manga looks over here, it's basically the best I have. I probably really should eventually switch out my brother's bookcase over here with something that looks a lot better. Although I mean, there is sentimental attachment to it. And so, yeah. So the form of my library is largely not going to change unless I can get like another bookcase and fit it out in the hall. But that's really not what I want to focus on right now. I want to really focus on really reorganizing the sections of my library. Namely, I need to find a home for my general genre fiction, which is largely detectives, mysteries, because they have no home. I mean, I could put them over here at this very back empty bookcase that's next to my door, because these two bookcases right here will eventually, at least for now, are earmarked for manga. So there's that, or I could put them with the general genre fiction, which, I mean, not general genre fiction, general nonfiction, which is on this headboard, this wall shelf. I probably should take a nap, even though I already did. But anyway, but with the three sections of my library that I really want to have a hard look at, well, four, because I really ought to decimate my writing and art books. And I'm not entirely sure when I'll get the opportunity for that. But I really want to reimagine or really have a hard look and redo of my science fiction and fantasy collection, my literature section, which is, well, I've called it the classics, canonical, modern, and contemporary fiction, poetry, and drama, but that's a mouthful, and I really can't put it in a YouTube title. So it's just going to be the literature section with maybe in parentheses the snobby definition or the snobby guide or something, and the history wall. So the reason why I want to probably decimate my writing books and the art books is that the space I have dedicated for them, I filled up. And I don't really use them. I don't really look at them. I don't read them. And I don't particularly actually like to read them. So I could probably do with maybe one or two writing books, maybe a few more art books, but that would be it. And then use the space for something else. I don't know what though. The literature section is a mess, particularly the bottom shelf, which is where I have my slim volumes of poetry. I ideally would like to move them up to the slim volumes of poetry, up to these two mini shelves, and then reorganize the rest of the collection by the classics and canonical, and then the modern and contemporary fiction, poetry, and drama, probably alphabetized. And united rather than broken up into fiction, poetry, and drama. Largely because I don't have much of drama. And with the poetry, it would be the collected volumes and or the selected collections, and the collected works would go there, and also anthologies. Although I do need to figure out what I want to do with the big literary criticism volumes, because I really don't, except for maybe as a weight or something, I don't really need them. Although I don't know necessarily if I could really get rid of them, because I mean, I'm not really going to read them, even though I've thought about it, but I'm not. So for science fiction and fantasy, I really want to emphasize what books are my favorites, and those books that I really want to keep, and then those that I would be most comfortable getting rid of, or that I'm seriously contemplating unhauling. And then for history, I really want to just redo it completely. So for years now, my history wall, as it has grown, has been basically ad hoc. So the first part of it, the kernel of my history wall, was just me putting the works of history that I had to that point on these bookshelves here, and just any order they happen to be put on there. And then after that, I basically would put those books on as I got them. So it's basically the books that are furthest along over here are the ones I got most recently, although that's kind of changed from the last time I did my big trying to move the manga over to the history wall, and which didn't work because I don't really have enough manga to really warrant going over here, and I really have no other place to put my history book, so it didn't work. So what I want to do is I want to try to break it up and reorganize it via subject, probably continental, sort of like an Americas section, a Europe section, an Africa section, an Asia section, although I don't know exactly how that would work given like how many books I have in any one subject. So I might try it and see how it works, and if it gives me the space I need for further growth, or if basically I'm even more limited into how much more that history wall can take, if that makes any sense. But I'll probably do individual videos that probably won't be all that long as I work on them. I'm aiming to do the literature section first because that's the one that's really annoying me the most. History I could probably do around the time I do my book haul, but we'll see. Anyway, so moving on to the Booker. So recently a number of booktubers, namely, I know for sure Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, Guilty Feet, and Bookish have all done videos in which they look at the extended Booker list, basically all the books that have been on the long list, not just the short list or the ultimate winners for each year, but the whole of the long list, and have picked, for the most part, their Booker dozen, although sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, of their favorites from the Booker. And I watched those videos and I enjoyed them, but when I took a look at the Booker list and counted, now admittedly I don't have full numbers because I used a Wikipedia page, and for a good chunk of the Booker's history, the extended long list is not included. It's just the winner and the short list. I don't know why, but it's whoever edited it hasn't added the long list to most of the Booker. But of what I saw of the books that I kind of looked at, I've read 25, and of those 25, I bailed on 21 of them. There's only 4 books that I've actually read to completion, and I would be lying if I said they were favorites. They're not. They're okay. I like them, although I will likely never reread them, and they're no way, shape, or form favorites. So, yeah. So, I was thinking about making a video, but then, I guess I could do my Booker dozen I don't like, but again, it's still a small number. So, I kind of wanted to do something about the Booker. Because even though I don't get on with literary fiction, yeah, there was a period when I did a bit more than certainly a heck of a lot more than I do now. But yeah, I haven't really been into literary fiction for a very long time, even though I, nauseously try to get back into it. I mean, any number of my reading projects have been designed to try to get myself to love literary fiction, and they fail miserably. But I keep coming back. I don't know why. But one thing that I do love is I love how other booktubers engage in the Booker Prize and also the Women's Prize. It's just watching those reaction videos and the review videos of the long list and short list and the commentary and predictions. It's a whole lot of fun. I really enjoy watching those videos. And in a way, I would like to participate. Although, when it comes to the prizes themselves, the Booker in this case, or the International Booker, or the Women's Prize, or any other fiction prize, it doesn't work. I don't enjoy them. No matter no matter how interesting they sound, or the enthusiasm that other booktubers have for those books, it doesn't work for me. So yeah, so I don't quite know where I was going to go with this. I mean, I might try to do like the Kindle Prize again this year, like I did last year, and just read like interesting books from the long list, but then try to read the whole of the short list, and definitely the finalists. But I'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of in a weird space right now. I don't quite know what I'm going to be doing, but hopefully this year's Booker list will be a good one for those people who, for those who enjoy the Booker and enjoy engaging with it and reading at least the short list, if not the long list, and dedicated a whole bunch of their time to it. Like, hopefully it'll be good for them. And maybe there'll be something interesting for me. You never know. I did rather like the most recent winner, although the ending kind of fell apart. But then again, I also really did not like the other book from the shortlist that I read. So anyway, so hopefully this part of the video made sense. I don't know if it did. But anyway, BookTube, I will hopefully be back tomorrow with maybe a tag video, because there are 2 tag videos, or 2 tags that I saw today that I'm kind of tempted to do. One I don't know about, and the other one I need to sort of think a bit harder than I Like I need to give it a lot more thought before I do it. And of course, I might do some tag necromancy as well. So, any booktube until I see you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.